Alright, I wanted to talk about something. This is a 2021 RK24. I bought this about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. About every attachment that you could think of, maybe minus about 3 or 4. Anyway, this is the Backhoe, and this is one of my most used attachments. And it's the BH 6.5, which just means it can dig 6.5 feet. It's an RK24, but it's made by TYM. I have noticed something, and maybe if you have one, you need to look at it too. This backhoe, see, I'm a machinist. There's my mill. I use better ones at work. Anyway, in the shop that I work in, sometimes we have hydraulic pins and stuff come in, and these are wallered out. And sometimes they're wallered this way. Well, what causes that this way, most of the time it's slopping these. But if you have something like this and it's constantly going back and forth, it can also waller it back and forth. This 24, I don't know if you can see it, there's one shim right there I installed, and there's none on that side. That's what took up the gap, because this was going back and forth like crazy, just smacking the grease out of it. It wouldn't allow the grease to stay in there. Plus, it actually has a tiny bit going back and forth now, because it has to have to get grease on the sides. But also, this main, look, this is called the dipper arm. What this is, I had to put a shim in there and a shim in there, and this is the one that actually started all this, because I was driving it through some bumpy stuff because I'm digging out for a lean-to on my building. This whole arm was just smacking back and forth, and I was wondering what it was. And I was looking back there, and this arm was actually moving back and forth. Now, these are 1/8-inch shims. Or not 1/8 inch, they're 16th inch shims, I think, or something like that. Anyway, there's 2 of them in there now, because this whole thing was just beating back and forth, beating itself to death. I put those in, cleaned the pins out, put them back in. This one has a brown or a different bolt on it, because I actually took the old bolt and smacked it against something and it crushed it, so I don't remember what it was. But this took up a lot of slop with these 2 shims. And it still has just a little bit, because it's supposed to have some for the grease to go in there. Now down here, this hydraulic piston. Look at all the shims I had to put in there. And look, it has room to go back and forth, like it's supposed to. But look at that. That's almost 3/4 of an inch. Or 5/8 of an inch of shims. There's one over here. It had one on each side. Now, this one I'm going to have to do, because look at this. Look at all of that slop. And you see what it's doing? You see how that grease is rolled over? It's literally beating the grease out of it. You can't have that. Because what's going to happen? You're going to be using it, oh, it's greased, and then you be beating it, and then the grease comes out, and then you start wallering out your pins. But I want you to look down here. Now, this is what I'm getting ready to do here in a minute. Look at how much slop is in this main arm. That is way too much. I say that's 3/16 1/4 inch of slop. And what's aggravating me is whenever I drive it, I hear this thing sitting here banging back and forth. And it's driving me crazy. Because everything else on the tractor is fine on the backhoe. But these big arms beating themselves to death back and forth. And look at this. That's just poor. The rest, the whole backhoe is fine. It's just, I don't know. Just it need to be shimmed in the first place. But if you have the problem with these just slopping back and forth, now they're supposed to have like a 16th or something to play. That way they have something in there. It's not beating them to death. But, you know, that much, heck, you can see it right there. Look at how much play that is. You can't have that. Because if it's going back and forth, it's just pushing the grease out. So, the shims will not hurt anything because they are in line with the pivots. So it's not going to be doing this. The shims will actually help it stay in line with itself. As you can see, where I put one on this side, put more on this side, because you can actually sit here and feel it, see if it's kinking, if it's cocking itself either way. But I wanted to point that out. RK24 Backhoe. Digs really good though. Just tired of hearing it clatter and jump around. I'm jumping around like it's an old worn out backhoe, even though it's 2 months old. But I thought I'd let y'all look at it. Maybe another day I'll make a video of this. But thank y'all for watching.